We just pranked. We had the biggest prank of the century. We just pranked this guy.
You gotta talk to that camera.
We made him believe.
We had a fake lottery ticket.
We had a fake lottery ticket, and he took the bait.
Let me make sure that was now too.
So he
passed over the sentence like 8 times.
Before the scratching,
that
we were
too.
best friends. As soon as the scratch was over, he didn't even know who we were.
He didn't scratch your back anymore. He didn't scratch your back anymore.
Wait. We were best friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so the money was going to be divided.
By how much?
By 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Wait, how about this guy?
He's out. He's out.
Anto, you hear
You see, this kind of friends.
He didn't take me to Milano.
Oh.
Wait, but you did make him say something that if you wanted to get cut in, you could see that Antonio's bought very easily. He talks about all these players not accepting money. What'd you offer? $50,000? You had to say Forza Juve, and right away you did it.
I did.
So, okay.
And because of that, you should take it back. You should just reconsider it because that's what your friends said.
But you make fun of the players that leave for money, and now for $50,000 you just had Forza.
It's all right. I can take that.
Anyway, we bought a bunch of fake lottery tickets. We've been pranking everyone. We got Mike, we got Antonio, and we got Gaetano. Peter was in on them.
I'm still redeeming that after the podcast.
Guys, it's been a while. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Somewhat.
I'm doing very good today.
Yeah.
After the news, man, one thing after the other. Meno 10 penalizzazione. 4-1 with 3 goals of Ciccio Caputo. Ciccio Caputo is actually my paesano. It's like he lives 50 minutes away from my town.
50?
Yeah, 5-0.
Oh.
They make the best bread in the world.
Altamura.
Altamura.
It's Nicky Giordano's town.
I'm serious. It's my friend Nicky's paesano. I'm not joking. I'm not making a joke. They make the best bread in all the world. Okay, you can just Google that up and say Antonio is crazy. It's crazy. No, just go double check. So this bread here, sometimes they make a huge round pani. We call it pani. And you can just keep this bread here for a week or 10 days, and it still stays soft. It's the quality of the grain and all that. What they do is just too much. In Greece, you will never know that this thing here exists. Anyway,
but a lot has happened. You just mentioned the minus 10 points. We got one of our members in the final. Inter is in the final of the Champions League.
Yeah, hey, congratulations, Pete. It's gonna be so much nicer when we're gonna wear the.
At least give him a handshake.
Hey, Pete, congratulations. It's going to be more painful to lose the final than win in the semi-final.
He's in more than one final.
Is what?
He's in one.
More than one final.
More than one final.
He's got a final Wednesday.
No, that's Milan. He's in one more final. It's all right.
What do you mean one more? You have 2 more.
And then you got the Joe Baron's final. Against Joe.
Coppa Italia.
Coppa della Joe Barone.
Joe's going to win.
P, how you feeling right now?
I feel good.
Talk to us about your season, because it's been up and down. There was a lot of expectations coming into this year for Inter. Then you didn't live up to those expectations. You have 11 losses in the league, but it seems you have hit form at the perfect time, and you're in the Champions League final, which is something that none of us could have expected.
Yep. I mean, up until, I guess, this past weekend, we won 8 straight games. So, like, everyone was hitting stride. We, between Lukaku coming in, Dzeko, Lautaro, everyone was scoring. And I think also Brozovic now coming back into form also added a level of an additional midfielder that can play the ball. Whereas we saw versus Napoli, not to pinpoint him, but Gagliardini is not of the quality of a Mkhitaryan, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, and Brozovic. So it's very important to be able to have that quality on the bench, and it's a full team for Inter. So that's why I like to see. And I think what we claimed, or what we were upset with Inzaghi. What happened?
What's going on, Mike?
Nothing.
You're dying laughing. I'm gonna show the camera angle that you were laughing.
Yeah, Mike is laughing at the fact that Inter is going to lose the final. Mike, don't worry, don't laugh at him.
We got lucky to have to verse Milan, because if we would have versed Real Madrid or Manchester City, with all due respect, it would have been a different story, I think.
So how do you feel? Obviously, we have to play the humble side, because Manchester City is one of the most informed teams that we've ever seen. I was not as nervous until I watched them dismantle Real Madrid, which is Real Madrid, such a historic club. I never expected that. But most of the experts, everyone's saying 90-10, that this one's already over if you read in the English papers. How do you feel, Pete?
Oh, it's definitely not over, because I think when it's a Champions League final, it's one game. So, some things can go your way. I think what we saw with Inzaghi's team, he was able to maintain the defensive lines very tight and structured. I mean, let's go to Porto, how we didn't allow them to score over 2 legs. Milan didn't allow them to score over 2 legs. So, like, he knows how to sacrifice. He knows how to maintain that position. And I think Inter move well. And at times are better suited to be that defending team to then counterattack.
So did you want Man City over Real Madrid because of that reason?
No, I don't think so. Because I think Real Madrid, whether it be Real Madrid or Manchester City, they were both going to have the possession. They were both going to have the ball. It's just, the players they have. What would have been interesting, I would have preferred Real Madrid only because Real Madrid is used to playing more of that counterattacking style and being able to break, and Vinny, we know, Rodrigo, these guys are laser paced players. So I would have definitely preferred Real Madrid. I think there's holes in the team, as we saw. And Manchester City is just insane because, forget about 15 deep, they're 23 deep. And maybe even 24, 25.
Yeah,
all those players can be starting 11.
So are you guys?
No, we're not.
deep.
We're
Not
not.
the same
We're not
extent,
as.
not the
It
same
was
Come on,
extent.
300 million to build Inter, 900 million to build this Man City side.
No, it's a whole different,
Ball
level
game,
of players, salaries.
You see it in the Premier League too. Look at their level of depth that they were able to go past Arsenal. Because their second team, Arsenal had like 13 players. Man City's second team can still help them win the Premier League. But if you had to pinpoint, now I'll ask anyone, where do you think tactically Inter can actually hurt this Man City side? We know the Manchester City side. We know Haaland. We know Grealish, Bernardo Silva. Where do you think Inter actually has a chance of beating Manchester City?
Well, like he said, defensively they have to be perfect. So you need to stop. They have a lot of players that can hurt you. Haaland is the first guy. Then they have Grealish. Then they have one of the best midfielders in the world. That can shoot from outside. He can set up Haaland. I mean, there's a lot of places. So if you play a perfect game defensively, I think first you don't have to receive any goals.
Yeah.
So if you make the team not to receive a goal, I think that Lautaro can score a goal. I mean, Lautaro I think can score against anybody. And between Lukaku and Dzeko,
they're good.
You might get a goal,
You might get a goal, but you might
so
concede a
you,
few
you
too.
only need one goal.
You need a dream. I think you need a dream.
$1 and a dream.
Dollar and a dream.
Not a fake dream.
Another dollar and a dream, paisa.
I think that's exactly the game plan. I think, Inzaghi, we're going to have to defend in numbers, and we have to be able to break on the counter. What I like to see in the first game versus Milan, the 2 chances that we got on the counter, we were able to score right away. So I think that's also going to be an important part. Being able to score, not necessarily early, but clinical. First and be clinical on the chances that we have, because I feel we're not going to have many. And then one more advantage, I guess, is the fact
the funeral home has been already booked.
Well, we're going to be playing in Istanbul.
Go on. What were
we're
you
playing
gonna
in
say?
Istanbul. So it's not Manchester.
Yeah, it's neutral.
So it's a neutral ground. It's, there's maybe some additional supporters because Canoglu's Turkish. I don't know. But
Maybe,
Gundogan is there too.
They
I guess,
don't like him. They don't like him.
I don't know if they don't like him. But
he
so
doesn't play for Turkey.
it's just a matter of,
He plays for Germany.
That's
His
what I'm saying.
Gundogan.
Gundogan.
But not Canoglu.
Gundogan. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Go ahead. You finish with your
No,
analysis.
I was just gonna say that the
So give
important
yourself
part.
a chance. How many chances you give
The
yourself?
important part is that we beat Milan and we're in the final after 13 years and after having.
Congratulations! I already shook your
We've
hands. I'm
had-
going to shake it one more time,
Thank
Pete.
you, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
What's your
how many
percentage?
chances you give yourself?
What's your percentage?
Percentage,
meter?
I say 70-30, Man City.
Okay.
Wow, you give
about-
yourself 30 chances.
30%. Yeah,
You're pretty good. You're pretty.
What do you say?
that's not
What's
a
your
lot.
percentage?
60-40.
No,
Mike?
75-25.
Okay, I got 65-35.
I have 90-10. 90 Manchester City, 10.
Jamie Carragher has the same.
Sure.
Let me tell you
the same,
something.
90-10.
Let me tell you something. That 3-5-2 is not going to work. Not against Man City. Gaetano, which is a guru in this kind of stuff, he will just go to Inzaghi and say, hey, Paisa, just put a 4-4-2 over there.
I don't believe
Get
in
the 4-4-2. Just leave it
But you
Dzeko
can't
and
change now.
Lautaro.
How are you going to
Yes,
change
you
now?
have to.
You're in the Champions League finals. You got to play the 3 in the
It's
back.
gonna be
stick
5.
with it.
And you got to go to
Yeah.
war. And
The
the
only-
only way that I think Inter wins this game, and Manchester City is a better team, Manchester City has to have an off day. I'm banking on the fact that Inter play perfect, absolutely perfect, no lost balls because they'll kill you if you do that, and that there's the obsession and a lot of pressure from that Manchester City side. Will that affect them? I don't know, but I'm banking on the fact that they're obsessed with winning the Champions League, kind of like when England was playing in Wembley and they were already singing "It's Coming Home." They thought that they won the game already. I'm hoping that pressure hurts them. I'm not saying it will, but I think that's the only real chance for Inter to do it. And I will say, Inter's not fun to play against because they put Real Madrid in that position. Man City put Real Madrid in that position, which is Real Madrid is not used to that position. They're not comfortable there. I feel like Inter is comfortable in the trenches. They're comfortable going to war, battling it out, defending, absorb pressure, and counter lightning quick. Again, not saying that it's going to work, but if there was any team to go there and try to beat Manchester City, I feel like Inter could be that team.
No, you do have a point, Marco. I agree with you. They are that scrappy kind of team, but they cannot afford to make any mistakes. If the midfield is good, if they're absorbing that pressure, winning the balls, Onana has a stellar game. The defense plays synchronized, and they're clinical.
Game of their lives.
It's one game. It
Mike,
can happen.
who would you play, Dzeko or Lukaku?
To be honest, Dzeko this season has been stepping up to the plate for the big games, and then bring Lukaku in as need be. I think that's the best case. You give Lukaku coming in as a substitute because that's what he's been doing. Dzeko's been performing with Lautaro up front, and you gotta give it to him. I wouldn't change anything.
Anyone disagree?
That's me personally.
To me, it doesn't make any difference. I'll tell you the reasons why.
Come on.
Inter, I'll tell you why. Let me just say it because the reality is what it is. You guys are dreaming. The reality is this, guys. The only people that they can hurt, the midfield Inter is stacked up pretty nicely, okay? They do not have the offensive weapons that Manchester City has, okay? So the only way, if you maintain that 3-5-2 formation, it's with the hope that DiMarco and Dumfries, they go down, if they allow them to, they've been allowed to go down, and they cross the ball into the middle, or they create some, a superiority. They take the guy one-on-one, and they go into, a superiority chances, and maybe, boom, you just pass the ball in the middle, boom, and a shot from outside of the box or an header from Dzeko or whatever, that can make a difference. But
so you're starting Dzeko?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lukaku is not a starter for me.
I would disagree with that. I know that Dzeko's been starting those games. I would start Lukaku.
Oh, that's a big risk.
That's the way that I feel. I feel like Lukaku's so hot right now. He scored again. He's finding the right moments. I would repay him for that faith. I know Dzeko does a great job at holding up the play, but even Lukaku, who's scary running into space, right? Because Man City's going to have to play a high line.
Season.
They're going to be, but he is getting into that form. Since April, he's got the most goals.
If you see Lukaku,
he's got the most goals since April.
But he still can't run the same way
can.
the 2 seasons ago.
I didn't say the same, but he is running. Who's scared? Who can run in behind the defense better? Is it Dzeko or is it Lukaku? For me, Lukaku is more scary to play a higher line for Manchester City if you got Lukaku running behind you.
The thing is, Inzaghi is very safe, so he's gonna stick to his guns. I think it's gonna be very short.
I'm not arguing. I think that he will start Dzeko. I'm saying that I would start Lukaku.
Yeah,
What
Gaetano,
do you think?
I got a good point for him. When you saw the game, the game on Manchester City against Real Madrid, when you are on non-possession situation, when Manchester City's got no possession, Real Madrid had the ball, what happened? They pressed them so hard. When they were not handling the ball, Manchester City, he was a bomb and grounding one after the other.
Well, that's Guardiola. That's his style. As soon as they lose the ball, they get it right away. They get it back right away. What scares me is the one-on-one. If you get one-on-one in the back, that's very dangerous. And when you have the 2 fullbacks that are way up, and you're left with 3 guys or 2 guys in the back, and they counterattack,
so
that I don't like.
With the Lukaku Dzeko, you have a preference?
I think that because he started Dzeko in the last couple of Champions League games, and they were successful, he's going to stick with Dzeko to start.
But if it was up to you?
If it was up to me, I would probably, because they did well in the previous games, I will let it go. I will keep it the same. Just I feel like the players are
synchronized.
Right? And they feel, hey, we did well with this team. This is the team that brought us to the final.
Meritocracy,
Let's start
baby.
like that. Then if you don't do well, hey, you change.
Marco, who do you sacrifice? Who you sacrifice on De Bruyne? Okay, Gundogan. Which player you're gonna put on top of them? You're gonna have to put Barella on one of them.
Acerbi. He got the butterfly net for Holland.
I don't know about that. You have to sacrifice 3 of your best midfielder, either Mkhitaryan, Barella, or Brozovic, or whoever is gonna be playing inside over there, to take away those 3 creation and 3 big. Those are a multi-level, extremely. Not even Renaissance players. Those are better than Renaissance players. Those are capable to do anything.
National
they're capable,
team players.
Yeah, they're capable to dribble the ball. They're capable to jump the man. They're capable to create.
They need 2 guys on De Bruyne. That guy's incredible.
They're capable to shoot the ball.
You can't put 2 guys on anyone because
they're so good.
That was the thing that impressed me the most, is that De Bruyne could dribble his man, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, and Haaland. They all dribble their man. So you can't double up. It's impossible. Anyway, you were at the match. You were at this game thanks to Skrill.
Yes.
And you were stuck with Mike in Milan.
I was not stuck. Mike is good.
How was it? A lot of people said you went there and then they lost. Are you upset?
Not really. I enjoy the game. I mean, the loss is a loss because but I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy San Siro, spectacular. The thing is that I can imagine if we had the stadium filled up with AC Milan fans. But nevertheless, we were pampered. We were on the lounge. We were eating spectacular appetizers, food, and this and that. I was with my AC Milan gear. I got to talk to Massaro. He's one of my idol of the Athens finals over there, and I got to ask him a few questions, and I got to shake hands with him. I got to hug the Champions League cups, and I got to do a lot of stuff.
We met a lot of fans too.
We met a lot of fans. I didn't know we are inside of this little dungeon over here. We are doing a podcast over here. I didn't know how popular we are when we live in those 4 walls.
What, people were coming up to you?
A lot of them.
You're a little Stellina, Anto.
A lot of people that came, including Inter fans. I mean, not necessarily all AC Milan.
Did you have any funny interactions?
Yeah, I would say pretty much. They said, Anto, I'm not an AC Milan fan. I might enjoy watching the podcast, and some of them, they were making fun of me. And they said before the game, they said, you're gonna lose today. I said, oh, no, it's okay.
You met your buddy too from your hometown in Bari.
I met a bunch of friends from my town.
Out of nowhere, right?
We met them in Piazza Duomo. And
how did you never go to San Siro for this game before?
My life, it was about trying to accomplish a bunch of tasks. I didn't grow up privileged like you did grow up, or pampered. I had to go to work during the summer, go fishing. This is not a joke, and I'm proud of it. I had to go fishing all the summer to be able to support myself, studying in Venice. And I played soccer as much as I could, but my goal was to step away from my family business, which we were doing extremely well. I said, I want to do something else. So I was in Venice, I landed over there, and I didn't have that luxury to be able to travel all the time or to be able to enjoy the game. But now I can see myself. I can subscribe to that lifestyle, and I'm thinking very seriously that I might be able to.
You should go to at least 2 or 3 games.
No, I want to go to more than 2 or 3 games.
It goes from 0 to now.
No, I'm maybe 7, 8 games, 10 games a year. We'll see.
10 games a year.
We will see.
That's every month almost.
Every month.
Yeah, I can do that.
I don't know, but they sent you and then Milan lost. So
what do you give a man the handshake? He's gonna fly you there?
Yeah, of course. I got flying partners over here.
How was Mike?
Oh, Mike was a pain in the ass, but it was fun. He used to drag me around.
He drugged you?
No, he was using me like a yo-yo. Do this, no, move over here, do this, run. He made me do a lot of those stupid things.
What are you, a dog?
He made me do poses.
We did frisbee. We call frisbee catch boy.
Yeah, he made me catch the frisbees.
Good boy.
So, the Milan story was spectacular, though. The Casa Milan was off the chart. That was my one of my biggest highlights.
Anto bought everything from there.
I saw.
You saw the credit card?
I saw the bill.
And some of the stuff that I couldn't get it because they ran out of the sizes. But the sizes were gone because the store was assaulted by the AC Milan fan from the previous game.
Mike, what about your perspective? How was it?
It was good. I wish I could have enjoyed it like Antonio, just because there was a lot to do. There's stuff to do every day. But yeah, when I got to the stadium, it was incredible.
Your first Champions League game too, right?
First Champions League game, yeah.
You've been to the San Siro, but you never saw Champions League.
Yeah. We've been to a lot of games.
And the derby, that's a big difference.
First time for a derby too.
First time for a derby, yeah. That was incredible. I mean, just the decibels in there, just shaking around.
Really?
Like, You could have put 500 speakers around your ears in this room, and it would even amount.
The noise level was way massive.
To the sound of it. It was like your veins were inside. Everything was just
shaking.
It's hard
all
to
your
explain.
body, all your organs were
like,
just.
I'm
going
sure
all
you
over
guys
the
been to
places.
packed stadiums.
Go to the doctor.
But this a semi-final Champions League when Inter were up, when they scored. Oh my God! It was like you can't explain these kinds of feelings.
You know what was shocking to me? I saw Micah Richards, his reaction to the San Siro. That's what like shocked, because I've been to games and I've seen these big moments. I went to the Derby before, and I don't want to say it's normal, but we grew up in this sort of environment, knowing the Italian football and the stadium experience and the way that we live football in Italy, and to see him where he was like, "Wow, this is indescribable." That's what shocked me, because obviously they know a lot of the English games. He's been to the Etihad a lot.
It's a little bit different from the New York Red Bull games, just a little bit.
But spectacular.
And he played there, I think, right? He said he played.
Fiorentina,
yeah.
I think a derby is more. Yeah, a derby is more. So good job.
Good stuff, Anto.
Congrats.
Anto did very well.
Yeah, let's do it over.
We'll book tickets right now.
Yeah,
Let's do it
Who's
again.
paying?
You got it?
yeah. Let's see if we can prank somebody else. Maybe we'll win something.
We'll buy the jet.
Let's not make names, okay?
We'll buy the jet. Anto, no more check-ins.
Yeah, maybe this time we'll give them a real ticket. God forbid this guy here wins. We're gonna have to chain him over here, and we're just gonna take the ticket away.
He's still not talking.
Yeah, look at him. Oh God, look at him. We got him. We got you, Paisa. We
Yeah,
got you.
did you see
It
how-
was not my idea.
But did you see how excited I was?
Yes, you were excited.
Yeah?
To the point you didn't even want to shake my hand.
No, he wasn't excited. He was more skeptical. You was very skeptical. You
Yeah.
weren't a believer. I don't. Yeah, you didn't seem sold.
No, I mean, I wasn't jumping up and down.
So what's been on your mind? What's at you? There's been a lot of things happening in Serie A and football. We talk about Champions League. We talk about Inter in the final.
So we're going to talk about what happened today with the points, or you want to talk about later?
Yeah, let's
No,
talk.
we could
Let's
do
get
the
it on.
points. We still got to talk about Spalletti. We got to talk about
Yeah,
Roma.
get it out of your chest. Get it out
You
of
want
your
to do 10
chest.
points?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, it is a joke that you penalize 15 points, then you give the 15 points back, and then maybe it's going to be 9, maybe it's going to be 8. Let's make it 10. I mean, you cannot do that to a team. You want to wait until the end of the season. You wait until the end of the season. They need to pay a fine. They need to pay points. They need to whatever the penalty is. But it's not only fair to Serie A. It's not fair to Juventus. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the other teams, because the other teams, they don't know what position is Juventus going to be in, so that they, are we going to qualify? What happens if you're the team that it's in the edge where
Did you hear Mourinho's quote?
That no, I didn't hear Mourinho.
He said he was really mad. He said this is a joke.
Yeah.
He said it changed Roma season because we would have done things differently when we played Monza and Bologna. We thought we could only qualify for Champions League through Europa League, so we went all in on that competition.
Right. Yeah, no, but it's not only Roma. I think it's the other teams too that they where you are in the 6, 7, 8 team. It's not fair. I don't think it's fair.
It's not fair to who, Gaetano?
I just said it.
It's not fair to who?
To the fans. It's not fair to Juventus.
To
It's
the
not fair to
teams.
Serie A.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not fair to
right.
the other teams
For sure.
that are fighting
Because they
together.
calculate the points
Right.
too.
Well,
Yeah,
I
to
beg
get
you to
into there.
different, though. I beg you to different.
So
Go ahead.
Beg to differ.
No, I beg the difference only for the Juventus part.
But I think you mean the way it's gone about. Like if there's a trial and there's all that stuff, okay, that's one thing. I agree that you can't do it 10 minutes before they're about to play a game
it's
and
true. It
then
messes
you give it
everything.
and
It
you take it
messes
back.
everything up.
No,
That's the part that to me doesn't make sense.
I think that
If it's at the end of the season, okay.
I think that also we don't look good.
Yeah.
Serie A doesn't look good by operating like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I am sure that this happens in the other leagues. Okay, what you do is at the end of the season you'll see what happened and then you penalize the team, but not in the middle of the season. You take points, you give it back, and then you don't know, and then you appeal, and then I mean that's not the way you do things.
But on the other end, Gaetano, this is my point. Okay, so Juventus did the things, they try to cook the books a little bit, whatever the case might be. But in all fairness, I agree with you that you do things at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, what's there is there. People, they need to know. Those are information. We're living in the world of information. Everything that we're constantly looking at the phones. We're looking at all of those things. People, they need to know. You cannot be waiting until the end of the season. You can still, with the idea that something may happen. So if something is known, it's been known, already. Just leave it on the table. For the penalizing portion, I 100% agree with you. But just lay all the facts on the table, and then don't leave everything. I mean, in other words, don't put a cover on the top, and then after the campionato it's over, then you do the plus and minus. Okay, 10 points, 8 points, 7 points, because after that you can just still compromise the season of other teams, like the way you said it before.
So I have a hot take. My hot take is that I don't think that this will be as bad for Juventus, that not being in the Champions League next season, because they're basically out of the Champions League with the loss to Empoli, which was a disaster. The players were awful. That's one thing, but and they have to play against Milan. If they won Empoli, there still could have been the path if they had beaten Empoli and beaten Milan. Now it looks almost certain not. But my point is, Juventus, things have not been done the right way. Allegri is a coach that needs to go, right? And the last couple of years, every time Juventus, by the hair of their chin, get into the Champions League, right? And what does it do? It forces them to make short-term solutions, right? Band-Aids. They put Band-Aids onto problems. Sign Di Maria, sign Pogba. Bring Allegri back. We need to win now. We need to win today. Whereas the foundation has been cracked for a while. The foundation from the management, the sporting director, which is awful, the finances, the way that they've done business, the coaching, the philosophy, the players that they've signed, the hunger within the players, all of that is rotten. And when you get the Champions League, of course, financially hurts a team, but when you just get that, you don't get to start from zero. And if this is their sign that they need to start from zero, they need to get rid of Allegri because they are going absolutely nowhere with him. You saw it in Europe this year. The loss to Sevilla was a disaster. The way that they've gone about in the Campionato is a disaster. Start from zero, bring in a young coach with new ideas, fresh ideas, get rid of players that are on way too big of salaries, bring in young players, and get a proper sporting director. These are all the paths that they should take. There's plenty of coaches. Palladino, Italiano, Thiago Motta, De Zerbi. There's a list of these coaches that have a proper mentality that will take you to the promised land. So that's the only way that I would say, okay, these 10 points, maybe it could be the blessing in disguise that they need.
Listen, one other question I asked Massaro, said, Daniele, who do you think is the coach that mostly resembles Arrigo Sacchi style of the calcio totale di Sacchi that you can see right now in Serie A or somewhere else? So I was expecting him to bring up either Italiano or De Zerbi, one of those. Guess who said? He said Ancelotti. I mean, Ancelotti was his allievo when he was coaching AC Milan. But again, he said that Ancelotti, according to him, is one of the most great interpreter of the calcio totale that he experienced playing under Sacchi. So, but that, I mean, I'm sure he could have named a few others. I was expecting either De Zerbi or somebody else, but he named Ancelotti. So Ancelotti doesn't have the squad right now to be able to face Guardiola, because it's about power, it's about physicality, it's about a technical ability. That's what I think that the soccer has been played at this level. Look at this. They bring people that they're like people from Mars or from other planets that they come in and walking in the grass and the stadium to play in those arenas. And then you have to just face the reality that money is a factor in soccer. So
well, that's a big factor, and that's why also with this, going back to the point as far as the judicial system and how they went about it, I think just to leave my remark on it is, you could have still uncovered everything and had the judicial process, because there's always going to be an appeal. There's always going to be something that you're going to have to follow up with or go through. And at that point, they should have went through everything. And then at the end, figure out a point deduction, or just say Juventus is not allowed into Europe. Because there was also discussions of UEFA coming in if Italy weren't to come down with a penalty. So that's my take, and it makes Serie A look really, really bad when there's these ups and downs and points given, points taken away, and it does compromise the rest of the teams and their approach to the game, especially when you're managing the different competitions, whether it's Europa League, Coppa Italia, Champions League. Now you're trying to figure out, and then if you already think that you're out and gone, like Mourinho said, he's going to focus in one thing, and that's Europa League. So that's my first take. Mm-hmm. Then as far as Juventus and what Marco was saying, Allegri, it's insane that the prior, management even gave a contract of that magnitude to Allegri when, majority of the times nowadays, especially in modern football, 2-3 years tops. You don't see guys getting or staying in one place longer than that. Yeah. Aside from maybe the English, because they have two roles where they're the,
sport director and the manager.
They're the manager proper, which they do all the transfer market and everything else. Everyone else, it's a, swinging doors almost. Mm-hmm. So it was weird. And the reason why they gave that much money to Allegri and gave that contract length was because he was about to sign with Real Madrid. So
they should have taken it.
It was, it's insane. It's insane. But when you do that, Allegri is not known to be the coach that's going to, develop the player or play a certain style. So you already know what you're doing. So they've kind of created their own death sentence, if we want, as far as what's going on within this Juventus team. And like Marco said, now is the time where we're out of Champions League or wherever the case might be. Hey, next year we might get jeered at by the fans, but we're gonna have l'anno zero, where we're gonna be able to clean house, build what we have to build, even if we're gonna lose.
Forget about Europa League. Forget
15 million. We don't have any expectations aside from we have some players that we like. We evaluate our players. This is the list of players. Vlahovic, what do? Keep him or sell him. Miretti, Fagioli, these all guys that can play. And Chiesa, they have a good mix of players.
Chiesa, I mean, this guy looks like a completely different player. And we don't know, is it the injury that he's just not come back the same, or is it the position that he's playing in under Allegri? But it is it's shocking. It's shocking the lack of desire players have and teams have. And then you hear the situation with Vlahovic that he's not happy. Bonucci hasn't been happy in a long time. Chiesa doesn't seem happy. So many important players within the team are against Allegri, it seems like, from the outside looking in. Yeah. What do you think? What's your take?
No, I mean, they have some good players in the team. So looking on the future, get your 7-8 players that you really want to keep, and the rest of them all out. You have some young, good players. I think that Fagioli he has a future. If you like Gatti, he could have a future. Miretti is good.
Bremer.
Bremer is good.
There's a lot of great players.
Fagioli, Chiesa.
And then you decide, hey, do I want? What do I do with Vlahovic? He's getting
maybe you monetize him, right?
$80 million. What do we do? Decide Milik, Chiesa, Di Maria, Paredes, Pogba. I mean, Pogba is a disaster. He should have been let go.
But what about the coach?
From the beginning, get a new coach. Start fresh, and because they're not going to play in the Europa League next year. Yeah. Then you concentrate. You get these young players. You concentrate on the championship, and that's it.
No, Gaetano, I think I agree with you. They got just like every other great team, just like Milan and Inter, they got to start from scratch. It's tough, but look how much they won in their 9-year dominance. They did incredible, more than any other Italian team that won in Italy. So they just got to start again. Hopefully they keep the good core players, lower the salaries. They're not going to have that Champions League money again, and just keep it going. Hopefully it's not as long of a drought that we've seen in the past with other Italian teams. But you got a new management. You're going to get a new coach. You can't. It's not something that you turn over in a couple of weeks. It takes time, and you can't continue with small little fixes. You got to start again, start a strong foundation, and build from there.
But the management will be the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I think
you got Giuntoli.
I would also
Giuntoli?
No, now they're saying. Well, actually, you know why he said Giuntoli, right?
Why do you say it like that?
You don't remember this?
No.
You don't remember when we had Milano on our show?
That's how we said it?
He asked him, how do you say it? What?
How long ago was that?
This was years ago, like COVID.
He said Giuntoli?
He said that from the region that Giuntoli is from, they say Giuntoli.
You guys make fun of me. Whenever I bring up the Greek language, there's accents, so you can never mess this up. You can never say You can never mess up how a name's
Giuntoli.
pronounced.
Mate,
Everyone says
Giuntoli.
I'm saying there's different
but
pronunciations.
he always said Giuntoli, and then Milano told him that time. I remember there's a video of it, and he corrected
Like,
it.
you know how
it's not
Pradè
true.
has a little
Mate,
accent on the E? They
mate.
need that for every word in Italian. They have that in
Mate.
Greek. You never mess
But I
anything
think
up.
it's just, but it's not about that. It's about the
Italian,
accent.
ma Marco, l'Italian, la lingua della perfezione. We have the language of perfection. No one is ever going to spell.
I'm not saying.
No, but
Nobody's
it's
ever
about
gonna
a
ask you to
dialect.
spell a word.
Well, we just said two different pronunciations for that
Mike,
name.
close.
Mike, it's a dialect thing, though. It's a
Yeah.
dialect.
So
Dialect.
how do you say it then?
It's
Giuntoli.
Giuntoli, but
It's
from his
Giuntoli.
region, it's like dialect. Any
Giuntoli.
dialect, they say things differently. It's like in Brooklyn. What do you say? What's up? Or you say what is the real thing? What is up?
You got three
That's a
vowels. Ci sono
contraption,
tre
that's
vocali.
different.
Marco, look at me. Ci sono tre vocali, three vowels, okay? I,
Do you guys know what I'm talking
you,
about?
and O at the end.
Okay. No one cares about this anyway.
Alright, so-
Let's move on.
What I was gonna say about Juventus, aside from all this trauma and problems, right? The team still, if they don't get the point deductions, are in second place. It's a far cry from what the reality is of this Juventus team, because I think the biggest issue is the way that they play, and just the fact that in Europe they were a failure. So within Italy, they were able to maintain the 1-0, vittoria di Cortomuso, the way that Allegri likes it. But it's like, what does Juventus want now moving forward? That's
They
the
don't
biggest
know, though.
thing.
They're stuck.
That's
They're
what
in
it
a
comes down to.
catch-22 because they want short-term success. They want it right now,
Yeah.
but it's not how it works. It's just not the way that it was done. It's like in 2010 when they had this rehaul. They finished 7th place 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in Marotta. They brought in Conte. They brought in all young players that hadn't won, but they had fire in them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch the game against Sevilla, you could lose to Sevilla. Sevilla is a team that they're the Real Madrid of Europa League, but not in that manner. You're up 1-0. The second thing, they defend, but they don't defend well. Juventus defend in numbers. They just throw everybody back, but they are not good defenders. They don't know how to defend. And then the next thing, Sevilla looks like they were fighting to not get relegated that game. That's the fire that Sevilla had. Juventus looked like it was a preseason friendly. Every player, not intelligent, not smart, not witty, not understanding how to win a game, to manage to fight. Besides Gatti, maybe, because Gatti had it in him. He's got the fire. He seems like he understands what it means to play for Juventus when so many others don't. So,
Listen,
whatever.
Marco,
it gets very deep.
Marco, for the life of me, I think Juventus should welcome this 10 points penalization like a welcoming news to them. In other words,
I don't know about welcoming news.
Let me say it. Let me just
10
try to
points and
explain.
40 million.
That's all right, Pete.
You gotta pay.
Sometime
You
have to
gotta win the lotto a
you
couple
have to
times.
go through you have to go through the painful process to be facing the reality and then say, okay, you know what? We got penalized. Let's start from scratch. The other point that I wanted to make, he was right, on my opinion, and I think with millions of viewers and listeners that we have in this podcast, I wanted to know what we have. I do not understand one rule still now della giustizia sportiva. Okay, you are a lawyer. You have to tell me the do's and the don't that every team and every management is allowed to do. There is a lot of confusion out there. A lot of people, they're still guessing around why Juventus is being penalized those 10 points. Marco said it right before. There are so many teams that they doing exactly the same thing, but they are good and not getting caught. You could be one of them. Okay? No, I'm serious.
Anyway. We know this.
We need
We've
to
said it
know
in the
the
past.
do's and the don'ts. What is it that Juventus got
Either way,
penalized
we're not
from?
going to get any answers.
It wasn't.
From this.
It wasn't. There's two different things. It's not just the plus valenza. There's also the financial part of the accounting.
The salaries,
That's
you're
what the
saying.
issue
The
is.
salaries
Yes.
for that during the
plus
COVID.
valenza, the meaning that they amplify the numbers just to be able to cover the books on the financial side.
Inflator.
Yeah, but it's also to cover.
Yeah, exactly,
Very much.
yeah.
You know, your what's it called?
Balance sheet.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's one part, and that's something that, like you said, there is no actual rule to say, hey, you can't value Pjanic at 80 million and the guy that they got Arthur at 75 million. Like, you can't do that. There's no rule about it, but there is a rule on falsifying, financial statements or paying or having separate contracts for players that during COVID you're not supposed to be paying this money, but you're still paying them. That's the issue as well, especially when Juventus is a public company, publicly traded company, where people are investing their own money
To put the
based
stocks.
on the financial reports that you're sending.
But on that side, wouldn't you argue that, and then we'll end the conversation, but wouldn't you argue that it should be like a money thing, like a money problem rather than a fine?
Criminal. It could be a criminal problem, yeah.
Which I think everyone's okay with. I don't think Juventus fans care where they end up. Anyway, let's talk about football.
Yeah.
Let's talk
because
about the
it's
game.
painful. See, Marco, I want to change the subject because it's very painful.
We're talking about it for too long. I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about football.
Empoli. We should talk about Empoli.
We need to talk about the ball rolling.
Let's talk about the game of today.
I want to talk about Spalletti.
Oh, wow.
Spalletti.
This was a earthquake when I found out this morning.
We're in round 36. There's 2 rounds to go. Napoli did an incredible season. And now all of a sudden, we get this crazy news that it seems like Spalletti is going to be leaving Napoli.
At the end of the
The
season.
rumors started to come out that the problem is between De Laurentiis and Spalletti, the relationship that they have. Again, rumors, reports. They say that there was a clause within Spalletti's contract that could have been activated. It was already agreed upon, could have been activated to renew him for an additional year. Spalletti says that he wanted to have a conversation with De Laurentiis about the future in terms of signings, the future where they're going to go, and of course, money. How much is he going to make? Because they agreed a salary before, but he feels like he earned more than, he punched above his weight. He won them the Scudetto. He's very upset that he automatically activated this. What I've heard is that he wants double the salary, Spalletti. He's making 2.8 million euros. Very low compared to
extremely low.
The over 8 million that we see Jose Mourinho and Allegri win, and they haven't won anything within Serie A. It seems like everything is going for Spalletti to leave Napoli. What do you think?
Well, this is all new to me. I thought it was only rumors. I didn't think it was true. But if it is true, I wouldn't be surprised because he did the same thing to Ancelotti. And Ancelotti, as we know, is one of the top coaches
in history
of all time.
But he didn't win anything with Napoli.
But you got to give him a chance.
That's true.
You got to give him the time. It's not that you go there. If you have a project, the project, it takes time for the project to develop.
Yeah.
And if you're going to interfere all the time with the coach, well, then and I feel like ADL, he has done it in the past. He did it with other coaches, even before Ancelotti.
He's so involved.
But then you could argue that it worked out. Look, by him getting rid of those players, he did something that Napoli haven't done in 33 years. Yeah, it led them to Spalletti.
I'm not sure about that because you don't know if with Ancelotti they would have won the Champions League. So I'm not sure about that. Now you won.
But how about with the players that?
Now you won. You won. Yes, you won the season. But now what do? You have a beautiful toy that you built over these years, and now you're gonna break it. Keep. What he said on the interview is that he wants to win next year and he wants to win the year after. I think Spalletti did a fantastic job. And if the guy wants double the money and he's making 2.5 and he's going to make $5 million, a lot of other coaches that make more than him and they haven't won. So, you're gonna start again. You're gonna sell the players. You're gonna sell Spalletti. Even if you keep the same players, maybe with Spalletti there's some kind of chemistry that it worked out this year. Yeah, and next year it might not work out.
Yeah, Team Spalletti. Team Spalletti. You're on Spalletti's side.
Yeah.
I want to add something. I agree with you, Gaetano. I feel like ADL is a little too hands-on at times, and by winning this, I feel like this gassed him up even more. And he does. I feel like he has an ego in the sense that, he wants more money. Who does he think he is? I brought him in, or I did it. And I feel like he builds himself up. It's like, I don't need Spalletti. I can get someone else. Just like you think you're better than Ancelotti. I sacked Ancelotti. I got you, and then you won it. It's like, right. I feel like he thinks.
Can you argue that he was right? Because look what he did. Look at Insigne. We all said he's crazy to lose Insigne, Koulibaly, Mertens, and Fabian Ruiz. We all sat here and said, what is he doing?
You could argue that he was right.
And it worked out.
It did work out. But then you got to see the other side because the money's minuscule compared to the other Serie A coach. Even 5 million. You won the Scudetto. You went so far in the Champions League. Pay the man.
But he could say, we have a contract. It's not in the contract. Yeah. The contract, we agreed on this. You didn't Spalletti didn't say, if I win the Scudetto, I get a bonus.
But also, did ADL really expect that this was going to be a reality
okay,
too?
but from Spalletti's side, his agents, shouldn't they should put that in a contract. You
Yeah, maybe
agree
a
that
clause.
we have this renewal no matter what. It doesn't say if you finish in first place or you finish in 19th place.
But you also
he's making
think,
the same amount of money.
You'd also think out of goodwill, you think from ADL's point of view, wow, we did something historical, monumental. Hey, maybe I should give a little bit compared to all
it's
the
business, Mike.
What do you
It's
think?
business.
And
Let's
so
hear
you're gonna
it.
risk? Are you gonna risk leaving
It's not about
Spalletti?
risking. Listen, first off,
What do you mean it's not
what's-
risking? Of course it is.
Mike,
You're gonna
Mike.
risk him leaving.
But the thing is,
So you're not
everything.
De
Go on, Pete,
Laurentiis
go
or
on, Pete.
Spalletti's team?
Spalletti on this
Spalletti,
side.
you're wrong.
Well, what I'm gonna say
You're
is
wrong.
that this is De Laurentiis' business.
Okay.
And unfortunately, if you just accept whatever people tell you, I want double, I want this, you're gonna get rolled over. You're never gonna get what you need. So the important thing is that De Laurentiis, he has a project and he knows what he wants. It could be a wrong decision or it could be the right decision. But whenever somebody says, I want double my money, right? It's not like you just say, yes, Spalletti, I'll give you everything that you want because you want me to Scudetto. It doesn't work that way.
Double of what, though?
But whatever
I
the
mean,
case
it's-
might be, it doesn't matter double of
You
what.
make it seem
In
like
the
50
end,
million.
there was a unilateral contract where Napoli was able to exercise the option and they have him for that year. There's an agreement. If Spalletti really wanted more money or wanted something, there should have been something in the contract say, hey, I need to be able to have a bonus. I need to be able to have this. There's different measures that you can be able
I
to.
get it.
Or maybe you work
kind of-
things out while the season starts.
Yeah, obviously. Then, as what's unfortunate for me is that Napoli just won a historic Scudetto, and already the sporting director wants to leave, the Spalletti wants to leave, this guy wants to leave, and so they're already trying to create a little turmoil. What's the next part of this? Giuntoli or Giuntoli, however you want to say it.
That's my boy.
He has been in Napoli for a long time, and I think he reached the pinnacle of this Napoli career. Maybe he can do better or do more, but he's already reached a top. And when you're in a certain team for a long time, you need something new, something fresh. Obviously there's been rumors about Juventus. I don't know if it's still strongly talked about, but that's obviously a very interesting project for any sporting director.
So Pete, what would you do if you're De Laurentiis? You have this contract. You're in the right. I don't think anyone can argue that De Laurentiis is not in the right technically. You're ADL. What do you do?
I think that it's more than just the money situation. That's what I think. I think it was already some tension building up before. I think De Laurentiis also didn't like the fact that they lost to Milan in the Champions League. I think there's part of it. Obviously, he said the referees and stuff and that, but he expected more this year. He tasted
victory.
Forget about Prosecco. He tasted champagne. He was ready to really live it up. And I think what he's come down to a point where he's gonna still evaluate with Spalletti to understand what's going on, and I think it's more than just the money.
But if it was
issue.
you, if you were in his shoes, what would you do? Would you double his salary, Spalletti's salary?
If it was just
double
the
his
money.
salary, no, I would negotiate to meet in the middle. That's how we would.
All right.
So you're more team ADL.
Yes.
I am ADL too, and I'll tell you the reasons why.
Anything different than what he said?
Yes. Okay. First of
yes.
all,
Tell me
first
what's
of all,
different
okay,
than what
I'll
he
tell
said.
you what's the difference. Just give me the chance.
Just like Spalletti, give him
I'll
the
tell
chance.
you. Okay. First of all, if you are into the team and you have the passion, you were enjoying coaching those spectacular players that you assemble, or that the administration has to put it available for you on the grass. Enjoy coaching them, and then down the line you're starting to talk about money. This Spalletti is putting himself ahead of everybody else. I said, hey, I'm the coach. I think I won. No, you didn't win. It's everybody. The group has won. So let's let the season start, and then friendly, maybe while you having a pizza or one of those things, you throw the stuff. Hold on.
You're having a pizza.
I applaud De Laurentiis because De Laurentiis, for me, he has already a substitute coach. He's got already a
Who do
coach.
you think? Who do you think it is?
I like to see Benitez or one of those players.
This guy's gonna send them back to Serie B. What are you talking about?
Rosario said the same thing.
Listen
Rosario
to
wants
me.
Benitez.
Listen to me.
I couldn't believe it.
Listen to me.
joke.
He probably's got Benitez or maybe a couple other names already
They
on
say
the
Italiano,
sleeves.
De Zerbi,
Right.
Conte.
Thiago Motta.
Good luck with them.
Let me
Meanwhile,
tell you
you spent a
So you
couple
think
more
he's
million.
the best option?
Benitez, the worst
Benitez.
coach
No,
ever.
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
I said could be one of them.
If
So,
it was, who do you like out of those options?
well, I like Italiano because Italiano is calcio totale. I mean, the whole team just goes up and down, and they play spectacular game.
you think
But-
he can make that jump though to
Yeah.
do the pressure?
Italiano, yes.
For a team, like, it's different. I think Italiano can make the jump, but I would have preferred to a team that didn't just win the Scudetto, because there's a lot more
I
pressure.
think Italiano can do it. Italiano can do it.
That's a lot of
Italiano
pressure.
can do it.
That's a lot of pressure.
Listen,
But
one more
Italiano
thing.
is not going anywhere. So
But Gaetano,
don't-
the same way he let Insigne, Koulibaly, and all of those people go without even blinking. Okay,
Right.
I think he's doing the right thing. He's sending a message over there. I said, hey guys, this is a group. I'm in charge of the group. This is the way the things are done. Okay, so if you like it, you stay it. If you don't like it, that is the door.
You're not a coach. You're an owner. You're not a coach.
Yeah, but the owner, this guy's intelligent, Gaetano. This guy's intelligent.
I'm sure he's intelligent, but the only coach that did this after 33 years was Spalletti. So you have to give credit to where credit is due.
Thank you.
I mean, why didn't the other coaches do before
Thank
him?
you.
Okay, now this guy, he makes, after 33 years, whatever the thing was, he got lucky with Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah.
Okay, he got lucky with Osimhen.
Kim.
Maybe they were there at the same time. But it could have
He
been
did
another
it.
coach and win nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was be able to create the chemistry. Okay, how much money did this team brought you in this year?
Exactly.
100 million? I don't know how much money he brought in, because
Probably.
he went to the to Champions League. He went
Quarterfinal.
to the quarterfinal.
The amount of jerseys they sold.
Jersey
I
sales.
mean, the jersey, and now you won the
Player
championship.
values. Player
Yeah, so-
values.
Gaetano, who
And
coughed
the-
up the money to pay for those players? Whether you pay them $10, $5, or $3, it's De Laurentiis cough up the money. He's in charge. He's saying, hey, I provide you with everything you want. Congratulations. Let's do it again. But on my term, not on your term. You sign a contract, the way Peter said before. You sign a contract, just respect the contract, and then we can maybe renegotiate.
Let me ask you a question,
But
Anto.
going all the way out and starting before the new season starts, that you want your salary to be double or triple or whatever the case might be, that is wrong.
Anto, let's say you're doing a job, right? You personally.
Yeah.
Right? And you agree a fee, right? You say, let's use easy numbers, $100,000, right? They say, a company tells you, I want you to get us to $1 million in sales. We'll give you $100,000, Antonio.
Yeah.
You do it. Not only do you get to $1 million, you go above and beyond. Because let's say Napoli's objective was Champions League, right? That's a $1 million for you.
Yeah.
You get them $20 million in sales, right? And they say, we'll take up your contract for another $100,000. Now the next year, they say, okay, we already agree with you, $100,000. When you go back to them, do you think you would ask for more money? Because you got them 20 million. You thought you were going to get them $1 million, but you got them 20 million. Wouldn't you think that you, Antonio, would say, hey, maybe I deserve $200,000 the next time around?
You see the way this conversation is flying right now on a very thin line. We're talking about money. We're not talking about soccer anymore. Hold on,
But I'm
hold on,
just
hold
asking you.
on,
I'm
hold
just
on.
asking you.
business.
I know, hold on, please. Just let me just...
Can you answer the question, though?
I will say, I will leave it up to the management to say, hey,
So
listen.
you take another $100,000.
Yeah, for the beginning,
Yeah, I don't
and
believe
then if you do it twice, then the management, then the
I know
management.
you so well. You would never do that. You asked for $1 million.
He's lying. I know. He's lying.
Listen, Spalletti is a human being like everybody else.
Okay.
You're making $3 million in 1 year. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but
doesn't
that's
matter,
not what
but
the
look at
market.
how
The
long
market.
he
The
gave them.
market.
Hold
asks
on.
for.
Look at the difference he gave them. All that money he gave them. Winning the Scudetto when they were just supposed to make top four. That was supposed to be a thing. There's a difference,
All right,
Anto.
now, Mike, you're arguing
gonna
the
make
same
him
thing,
walk.
though. Leave
Mike.
it. We already said all these
But you're
arguments.
gonna make this guy walk and then hope for another coach gonna do the same thing for $2.5
He
million?
proved it already.
Everyone already said this
De
time.
Laurentiis,
That's his
he
opinion.
he proved it already he did it before. He let Ancelotti's go. He let somebody else go. He let Sarri go.
And they didn't win them the Scudetto.
Well, but
And
at
this
some
guy
point
won
you're
the
gonna win.
Scudetto.
Mike, give me a break.
Give what a break.
Mike, if you are in Napoli, you embrace the project of Napoli.
He did embrace it, and he
You have
won
to
the
play for the
Scudetto.
shirts.
He
not for
did,
this
and he
money.
won the Scudetto.
Maldini, he's not going to put the pressure
Mike,
on
why are you
Napoli.
arguing with him?
Because it doesn't make sense from
I
the
know.
people that
So
are
why are you
disagreeing.
arguing? So why are you
It doesn't
arguing with
make
him?
Mike,
sense.
if Maldini wins the Champions League, he's not going to go to the owner of AC Milan and say,
Oh
I want you
my
the Champions League, you have to
gosh.
triple my salary. You know what they're going to tell him? Goodbye, Charlie. Okay? It's not about the money. It's like, it's what you have invested into the passion for the shirts and the history and everything else.
I think it's more than just the money, even for Spalletti, because let's look at it clearly, right? I just won the Scudetto. Forget about the salary, because I think in the end you can negotiate the salary.
Yeah.
It's even the fact that I think this is his 1 year extension. So he's on a 1 year deal after he just won the Scudetto after 33 years. at least you would say, hey, give me
Renew.
a second year, give me a 2-year contract, give me some money, bonuses or any other structure that you want to be able to do. So I think that's where the negotiation is coming from. But I also think that Spalletti's going through a point where with ADL, there's probably some friction for the overall project, spending, and who's going to be the next sporting director and what's going to happen after. Because even for Spalletti, he just won Scudetto, Napoli the Scudetto. Realistically, can he reach to the next level? Can he win the Champions League or double down and win Scudetto next year? Like, there's a lot of pressure now on him. Now Napoli is has the target on their back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Roma. Because Roma, disappointing game today, the 2-2 with Salernitana, but I want to focus on Europa League. Them getting to the Europa League final. The game against Bayer Leverkusen was crazy. I saw the expected goals was like 0.04 for them. They did whatever they had to do to get the job done and hold the 1-0 lead, and Bayer Leverkusen wasn't able to score. They didn't have to sub in Dybala, which he was like waiting for that. He was using it as his like card just to throw in just in case, and it worked out. And he gets to the Europa League final. He got Roma's entire history. They went to 2 finals, 2 European finals. He's now gotten them 2 in the last 2 years since he's joined. So their entire career, he's never lost a Europa League final, as Sevilla has never lost one as well. It's going to be exciting. I just want to praise Roma for their way of how he's impacted their character, because I see a Roma that have become winners. Maybe they haven't won yet, or they only won Conference League, but I mean winners in terms of how they go out and take the pitch. Each player's got this desire. They have a feeling, and he's gotten himself into each of their brains. And maybe you don't like the style, you don't like that they defend, which we could all agree or disagree on, right? How we like them. But you have to admit that they have become winners since Jose Mourinho has come into the team.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in the end they don't win, but they play as winners, and they go into a match believing that they could always make an upset, and they're the perfect tournament team. I pray so much that they win this Europa League final, because it would be something spectacular to see Rome celebrate another final.
It'll be great. And Mourinho brings that stubbornness into that team, that they fight for each other. You can see when someone gets pushed, the whole team goes, revolves. You see Mourinho want to go on the field and push the players too. So it's that like never die attitude, which you want to support, except if you're Sevilla on the other side. But they're that gritty kind of team, and that's what Mourinho loves, that us against the world mentality. And Mourinho has a chance to make history again, back-to-back European winners. They could do it against Sevilla, and that's probably the worst team you want to play, because Marco brought up before, they're like the Real Madrid of Europa League. They love playing, and they know how to win in these competitions. So I think this final is going to be like a 1-0, maybe even a penalty shootout. It's going to be a single mistake's going to cost the team a match or a mistake.
We should get a Roma fan, maybe Wayne, and just check his blood pressure throughout the entire match. Because Sevilla is going to be on the front foot the entire for the way that they play. Yeah. They are going to have a billion.
Right into the mic.
he's been doing the
first time he talks to the mic, he coughs it too.
I saw Wayne a few weeks ago at Ribalta, and
huge
big Roma fan.
Huge Roma fan.
Hey Wayne, if you're listening to us, we miss you. Okay.
What you guys got to say?
I think
He's not as excited.
I think Mourinho, he has that power to get the players. From what I hear, he's a great coach in the locker room, so he gets the players to back him up, and he gets the fans on his side. And whatever the project is going, and the project is not working now with the owners, I don't know what's going on there, but he has the fans and he has the team on his back, and they're all supporting him. And that's the only way that he can win this game. By the players, the ones that love him, they'll kill for him. They'll do anything for him, because they're not as talented as the other team. I'll tell you that. I saw the other team play, but they can win the game. They can win the game because he makes them believe that they can win this game.
Mm-hmm. What you think, Pete? Any thoughts?
Listen, as an Inter fan, obviously you know where I stand with Mourinho. He's a living legend. Might not be the greatest style of play on the field, but he's someone that gets the most out of all of his players. And Mike said it as far as the us against the world. He has this mentality, And I think for certain clubs, it works even more. It's like an added bonus. So like obviously with Inter, we've always taken the hit because we're not the chosen team of Italy. We're not the Juventus. We don't have the media like Milan. We don't have the outlets to be able to support Inter. And Mourinho created that, and the fans were all behind him. And then he made history, and he was able to win when the time was needed. Right, you needed to win that Champions League, and obviously the treble. We all know what happened. So the same thing goes with Roma, where Roma, for most of their history, they've always were the, I guess, second fiddle. They can win a Scudetto, but they'll always come second a lot of times. So it's that city of ancient Rome, I guess, where it's for the populace, it's for the people. And Mourinho is that person where he's gonna do everything that
he's the emperor.
He's smart in what he says. He's smart in how he's able to change someone's opinion or make sure that the light is on him instead of being on the players. And I think the fans are soaking it in right now. And then listen, last year he goes in and he wins the Conference League. And this year he's in the final Europa League. So the same way that I can talk about Inter having a chance versus Man City, Roma definitely have a chance versus Sevilla. 100%.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think it's very 50-50 this game. I think Sevilla technically is much better. Like you said, tactically, technically, whatever you want to call it. But and they consistently win this. But Roma just has this heart and have this feeling about this. And like we said, Mourinho's never lost the final. And there was one thing I saw, and I don't want to do the comparing game because, you could argue how much Guardiola has brought to the game. But I saw this tweet. I want to know what you guys think about it. It was like the difference between Guardiola and Mourinho is that Mourinho could take Manchester City to the Champions League final. But Guardiola could never take a team like Roma to the Europa League final. He can never make a team like Roma win.
I'm not sure about that. This is kind of a... I don't know. I don't believe that. I think Guardiola has got the cojones to do that. So I think Guardiola is a lot more prepared than Mourinho. He's
trying to say like Guardiola's always had the players, and Mourinho's been able to get more out of like bringing young players into the team, Primavera guys. Yeah. They spent, he said today, there was a hilarious quote. I don't know if you guys saw this. He said, he said Roma getting to this final or getting into Champions League football, only spending 7 million euros on the transfer market is not a miracle. He said it's more like Jesus Christ making a walk through the Vatican. Wow.
He's smart, man. He's witty.
That's funny.
I'll tell you why.
Anyway, anyone else about that Guardiola idea? What do you think, Pete?
Listen, Mourinho won with Porto, 2004. Porto. Inter, that wasn't supposed to win the Champions League.
Real.
And then, Real didn't win the Champions League.
I'm not sure.
But,
Okay. He won
but Real Madrid also have the money, so I can't really claim it. And then with this Roma team. So he's taken challenges and he's been able to get the most out of his players. Guardiola, right now in his career, he's always had the best of the best. You go to a Barcelona with Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. That was the team that you can never beat. They were the aliens.
He was at Bayern too, right?
Then he was at Bayern.
He didn't win anything in
And he
Europe.
never won Champions League.
Champions
Yeah, I
League.
could have won the manager in Bayern too.
And then Man City, he's literally...
But he's changed football. Like, that's not the argument. That's
Guardiola.
not the argument. But do you agree with that statement? That Guardiola wouldn't be able to do this with
I think his style of play, he needs certain players. So that's why I think Mourinho's able to get away or win, because his style is about hardworking and being tactically prepared. Whereas Man City, if you want to play a certain style, you need the guy that can make that pass. Mm-hmm. You need that tiki-taka style or the passing. If the guy can't pass, you're not going to have any success. So he needs that in order to win. Then, obviously, maybe he challenges himself later on. I mean, even Ancelotti challenged himself, going to Everton, for example. It didn't work out as planned, he maybe hoped.
Well, he said one day he's doing Brescia.
Guardiola,
yeah,
it'll
be
free.
Great.
It'll be great.
Or Canada, right?
Here, take that, Spalletti.
I'll tell you what, Guardiola has been shown already. He's been displayed spectacular soccer. Regardless, many times you can lose a couple of Champions League on a one game situation. I mean, it's very unfortunate. I mean, the guy. He's a brainiac. Now he's got the brain and he's got the power. So if he fails now, okay, then I will just starting to change my mentality.
It would hurt his legacy, you think?
I think it would.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
This is one of the best teams ever.
If
Like
you
this Manchester
fail
City side is one of the best teams.
You have the game, you have the system, everything is working perfectly, and you have the players to do everything. He had the players even a couple of years ago, and he failed. But he felt miserably over a game that should have been their game. Okay, they were the favorite to win. This time, I think they are the favorite to win, and they're gonna win. And winning is contagious. If Guardiola wins this year, it's gonna be 3 or 4 Champions League in a row that they're gonna win.
Listen,
I'm just sticking my neck all the way out. He's the only one that has got a game and has got a system that is very difficult to replicate.
Simone, listen to me. If you're watching this podcast, do what everyone wants and be Manchester City. Everyone that's not a Man City fan, I think is rooting for Inter. Just like
Except the Milan
just
fans.
like
Milan-
everyone in the
Juventus
Euro
fans.
was rooting for Italy against England. I think this is the same kind of thing. No one wants Man City to win with all this oil money. We're doing this. Simone, you can.
I want Manchester
You
City
can
to win.
you can
What are you
change the
talking
course of
about?
history right there.
No one wants. I want Manchester City to win.
Didn't you buy a Man City jersey?
I'm looking online. I see if I can get
The
it
new
before
one
the
just got
game.
released.
I'm buying it. You know.
Ask Ryan.
Oh, so am I asking? He has it?
He definitely has.
If it's signed, it's not gonna let me wear that. If it's not signed, I might.
Anyway,
take it.
guys, we'll probably have a podcast after the Coppa Italia final between Inter and Fiorentina. We'll see how that one goes. Real quick, let's make a prediction. Who wins this final?
Inter.
I say Fiorentina.
Oh yeah, the Inter. We're talking about the Coppa
Italia,
Italia.
Coppa
You said,
Italia.
you said
Inter's
Inter.
in the final.
Oh, you're in the final. Ooh.
Not Milan. What you thought? Milan was in the final.
You said Fiorentina.
I say Fiorentina.
And you say Inter.
You're going to say Fiorentina. Just say it.
Come on.
You knew you were going to choose
I
it.
would say it's going to be Fiorentina.
Mike?
Inter's gonna win.
I think it's going to go extra time. They're going to tie. They're going to go in penalty. And then anybody can win.
But who's gonna win? What are we
You got to
doing?
get one.
What are we doing, buddy?
Say Fiorentina because Joe is listening to you. Joe, he's supposed to be your friend. Look at this.
If there's any game that Inter's going to lose,
I want Rocco to lift.
No,
I
this
want
one.
Rocco to lift a trophy.
You
I
gotta
wanted to
another.
see Rocco
I think
Commisso
this is,
with a trophy. Rocco deserves it.
I think this is the time for Fiorentina. I think Inter has got their heads at Man City over there, the
That's what I
Champions
think.
League. And this is the right time. Fiorentina is playing well. They got the players. One game. Goodbye.
Charlie.
I want
Limonata.
Rocco Commisso to be named the owner of the year in Serie A because
do
he
those?
built
They do
he
owners
built
of the year? I'm
il
new to
Centro Sportivo Firenze. He's doing a lot of great
All right,
stuff for
guys.
Florence, and we want him. I want to see Rocco lifting the trophy.
all right, guys. Thank you for
Okay.
watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Ciao, guys.
Yes, the
Guys, what are we buying first, boys?